Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This is the brother Yachana from the GMS Houston Church, and this is just a quick lesson, going into, the Spirit Airlines shut down, and just watch the video. I'll just play the video real quick and just go into the precepts, just get right into it.
There's no severance, our insurance, everything was cut off on May 2nd.
Laid off and left without answers. Spirit Airline employees gathering outside company headquarters in Dania Beach Monday, still reeling after the surprise announcement over the weekend when the company shut down for good.
It wasn't until midnight on Friday night that we learned, when we see the board with no flights for the next day, that we were done for that day.
The abrupt closure creating a frenzy nationwide, catching employees and travelers off guard. All flights grounded by 3 a.m. Saturday. 17,000 people across the country now without jobs, including thousands of workers based here in South Florida. The impact widespread.
This is not like any other industry. You do not take your work experience with you. You start right back at the bottom. So if you've been here 30 years, it means nothing. Myself, 10 and a half years, means nothing. You start right back at the bottom with the lowest pay, lowest seniority.
This is the layoff notice Spirit sent to all staff Saturday, stating the company will be permanently closing all of its operational locations. The ultra low-cost carrier collapsing amid rising jet fuel prices, intense competition, and debt. The company filing for bankruptcy twice in as many years.
There's a lot of people that are going to struggle, and there's no way around that. There's just not enough jobs in this industry for the type of work that we do.
Now, the recovery will be very challenging because, again, all health benefits were canceled on Saturday. County leaders stepping in to help. They are hosting a career fair at Career Source Broward County at the Hollywood location from 2 to 5 p.m. Of course, we'll have much more reaction throughout the day.
And just looking at it, like, there's a lot of women in that crowd. There's mostly who work for Spirit, and having flown Spirit a few times, I hated that airline. The seats uncomfortable. They charging you for every little thing, you want. Anyway, it's just my experience flying Spirit is good. It's shut down. Good. Fucking soul plane ass nigga. I fucking hated that shit. I know I missed a flight once, and some airlines they'll help you out, which I know this. I just hate dealing with fucking nigga woman, because anything you want something where you gonna where you hoping for mercy, you're not gonna get mercy from the nigga woman. I fucking hate them. Anyway, so this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, because it just suddenly came upon them, and you seen them, they all dressed up, they got the adornments. I'm thinking of Isaiah the 3rd chapter, and then Isaiah the 4th chapter when you see this. But just suddenly, just 17,000 people just cut off. That's it. No more work for you, no benefits, nothing. You got to start all over. You got to, like the guy was saying, this industry, you don't keep where you left off. You got to start over from the beginning. So you've been working there 30 years, whatever. Now you just a fucking beginner, or however it is. But good for you people for trusting in this system. So this is Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1. Remember now thy creator. So you seen that crowd. Those were all Israelite women in that crowd. It don't matter if they look, lighter skin, or they look Latino or whatever. Those were all Israelites. Remember now thy creator, and your creator is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Who the world inwardly calls God, his son who they call Jesus. Yahweh meaning he to be. Yahushai meaning he saves, he delivers. So remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So now you're starting to feel the hurt. But if the prophets have been out here before, this great hour of temptation is coming, because it's only going to get worse. There's going to be more airlines that shut down. There's going to be more companies that shut down. There's going to be more and more and more people that become unemployed. That because of so many people being unemployed, they're gonna have their hand out, asking for the MOTB, asking for UBIs, asking for help from Egypt, from their enemy. Which you're gonna go to your enemy for the one of all things, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is telling you to remember him, because he's the one that put the enemy over you. He's the one that put you in this situation. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. So all this going into work, the work is slowing down. There's no more work to be done. These companies, whatever, is shut down. They're shutting down and they're moving on to different things. It doesn't matter if people try to bail them out or buy them or whatever. This is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. These things are shutting down. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is saying, I want this hour of temptation to come. I want this I want pain. I want famine to build up. I want high prices. I want hyperinflation. Because he's bringing destruction. He's setting all this up to bring ultimately the day of the Lord, the day them ICBMs drop, the day that Yahushua returns. All these events are building up towards this great event. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be wrought low. So that's showing it's not a good time. Nobody's singing. Look at the music today. The music is trash. A lot of times if I ain't listening to nothing that I like, whether it be a lesson or some music that I downloaded that I enjoy, I'd rather listen to just the sound of the car on the road. Just the sound of the wind. I just listen to. So I'd rather listen to nothing. But the music is trash. All this is showing the times. Like, people are miserable. You can see it. You can see it in their spirits. You can see it on their faces. And we're in these times, and it's only gonna wax worse. And it's so beautiful. It's beautiful to see Yahweh Bashim Yahushua bringing his judgment. This is Isaiah 32 in the NLT. It says, Isaiah 32 and verse 9 in the NLT, it says, listen, you women who lie around in ease. And because, they got these jobs, you don't need a man, you're independent, this, that, whatever. You can do it on your own. But every woman, I was talking to the brother Shemaiwan, every woman that I've talked to for the last maybe 2-3 weeks, ask them, and I'm just asking them questions, they come up, whatever, like, oh, you got a man, this or that, because they're coming up wanting to get car work, whatever. And it's like, you don't have a man to do this? It's like, no, I don't need a man. I want to do it on my own. I want to learn how to do it on my own. This, that, whatever. But here it is, you still coming to a man to get all this stuff done. You're just not doing it on your own. You still coming to a man. But they have this attitude that they can do everything on their own. And I remember, a few days ago, maybe 2-3 days ago, speaking to an elderly woman. And she's like, man, I have to learn how to do all this on my own. My husband, when he was around, he used to do all this. He used to take care of everything. But now he's gone. And my children, they live somewhere else. I'm trying to help her out. Like, look, you get this, whatever. You get this. Get this oil, whatever. This will save you some money. It's still a good oil, but it's cheaper. So you're trying to save money. He's like, well, I have to call my children to make sure, whatever, my sons. And I was like, whatever. But the point being is, these women trying to do stuff on their own, it ain't working out for them. None of this is working out. You need a protector. Anything. You need somebody to hide you from this. But hey, guess what? You're at ease. You still got it on your own. You can still go out and do this kind of, do whatever. You know, you can be independent, do all this kind of stuff. But as you see, all the women sighing and crying because suddenly their benefits were cut off, because suddenly their check was cut off, because suddenly their job was gone in an instant. Now what? And then all the men that have already been around, they ain't gonna help you. They got their own problems to worry about. You know. But again, this is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9 in the NLT. Listen, you women who lie around in ease. Listen to me, you who are so smug. Let's look at that word smug real quick. Smug is an ad. Let me get this. I really just wanted to see a picture. Smug etymology. Because when you talk to, let me read this real quick. Smug, trim, neat, spruce, possibly an alteration of the low to adorn. Then think about that to adorn makes me think of Isaiah 3 again. I might have to get it. Earlier, to dress oftenly is a secondary sense of the word. To creep, to slip into. The meaning, having a self-satisfied air, is from 1701, an extension of the sense of smooth and sleek, which was commonly used of attractive women and girls, or else effectively nice and dressed, satisfied with one's appearance. Self-satisfied. Well, that still comes to mind, but you know, let me see what the Wiktionary. To dress, to adorn. Here it goes. Smug, an adjective, irritatingly pleased with oneself, offensively self-complacent, self-satisfied, showing smugness, self-complacency. What is so? Come on. Satisfied with oneself, especially oversatisfied, slightly arrogant. Hey, and that's the Israelite woman. Matter of fact, since it came up so much, I'm gonna go ahead and get this now. This is where am I? Let's get this. I'm gonna come back to this. .414. As soon as this, man. Wonder why it wouldn't do that before. See, does it start around here? I'll just get the whole. It says Isaiah 3 and verse 16 in the NLT, and the subheader says a warning to Jerusalem. You know, and this is A to the southern kingdom, but A to the whole 12 tribes, both the northern and the southern. It says Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai says, beautiful Zion is haughty, craning her neck. Beautiful Zion is haughty, and haughty means, let's look at that. Haughty describes someone who is blatantly proud, arrogant, and disdainful, acting as if they are superior to others. Is that not the nigga woman all day? Was that not describing that smugness? You know, it says, beautiful Zion is haughty, craning her elegant neck, flirting with her eyes. I mean, it should be looking you dead in your eyes. You know, with them stupid caterpillars on her face, on her eyes, walking with dainty steps, tinkling with her ankle bracelets, So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will send scabs on her head, and you have that. You know, most of you see with the Judite women, why they got to wear wigs, because they have a form of alopecia that forms on the crown of their head. So, and that's really pretty much a scab or a scarring on their head where their hair won't grow. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will send scabs on her head, and Yahweh will make beautiful Zion bald. On that day, the Lord will strip away everything that makes her beautiful: ornaments, headbands, crescent necklaces, earrings, bracelets and veils, scarves, ankle bracelets, sashes, perfumes and charms, rings, jewels, party clothes, gowns, capes, and purses, mirrors and fine linen garments, head ornaments and shawls. All this is being stripped away. And they were able to buy this stuff from themselves or to use men, like on certain apps, you go on Instagram or whatever. All you do, you get on there, you see women on there, but all they doing is begging, putting up their Cash App, send me money so I can get food, send me money to this so I can get my nails done. And the Simpsons, they just fucking do it. Whether they get anything in return, get a picture, whatever the fuck. You ain't getting nothing, but this is how these women have been able to be at ease in these days. You get online, post a few pictures of yourself, and fucking niggas just send you money. But these days are over. It says, instead of smelling of sweet perfume, she will stink. She will wear a rope for a sash. Her elegant hair will fall out, and she will wear rough burlap instead of rich robes. Shame will replace her beauty. The men of the city will be killed with the sword, and her warriors will die in battle. The gates of Zion will weep and mourn. The cities will be like a ravaged woman huddled on the ground. And this happened to Israel, and it's getting ready to happen again. And this is why the prophets, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, are here giving you the warning, telling you what's getting ready to take place before it happens, so you can get yourself prepared mentally, get yourself prepared in the spirit, repent and turn back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, so you can be protected. But yeah, that's what came to mind. And then, the next chapter here is Isaiah 4:1. A man shall be, I'll go ahead and get it. I know it's gonna mess up. It says it better in the KJV. Here it says Isaiah 4:1. In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man, saying, "Let us marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name, so we won't be mocked as old maids." But there will be few men. But let's get that in the KJV. It says a remnant in Zion, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." And I just read at the end of the last chapter that all the men are going to be killed. So the only ones left are going to be the ones that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has selected. The hopeful elect, the men that are going to be like fine gold. That's who's going to take hold, or that's who these women are going to try to find and seek and take hold of. To take off their shame. And it ain't going to be just just call us by your name. No, these are going to be your women. So back to, where was I? Let me see if I had anything else right here. Isaiah 32. Isaiah 32 and verse 9 in the NLT, it says, "Listen, you women who lie around in ease. Listen to me, you who are so smug. In a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care." So suddenly now you don't care. You didn't want to, you were doing good. You getting money this way, that way. You getting income streams. You flying across the world. You hoeing, this, that, whatever. You got a job. You don't need a man. What do I need you for? What do you bring to the table? I need a man that's 6 foot. 6 figures and whatever else the other one was. Now you caring. Now you ain't got a job. Now you cut off. Now all your benefits. Now you caring. But hey, there's still more to go. There's still more evils to come. It says, for your fruit crops will fail, and the harvest will never take place. Tremble, you women of ease, throw off your complacency, strip off your pretty clothes, and put on a burlap to show your grief. Oops, whoops. So, hey, beautiful, glad, good for you. I did have that Proverbs 12 and 10, but hey, just showing here, Proverbs 12 and 10 says, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, referring to a Esau Edom that's in charge of all these companies. You know, and not referring to him as being a righteous man, but a righteous man will care for his workers. You know, for those that are laboring for him. You want to take care of them. Why? Because hey, you want, if they're taken care of, they're gonna take care of you in return. You know, they're not gonna well, this is why we're looking for a world ruled in righteousness. Because everything is gonna be in its rightful place. You know, everything's going to be judged fairly, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So the wicked, they ain't got no kind of mercy. You know, they're cruel. Let's look at that word for cruel real quick. Oh, it just says cruel. That's cool, man. Thank you. It says cruel describes people or actions that intentionally cause pain, suffering, or distress to humans or animals, or events that result in severe hardship. Is that not this man? He could have gave them severance pays. He could have gave them whatever. He could have gave them enough time, like, hey, look, we shutting down. We're going to let y'all find other jobs. In the meantime, you know, we're going to take care of you, whatever, until you know, find another thing. You know, thank you for working for us, dedicating, you know, your, you know, years of your life to us for so long, whatever. No, they just shut down. No, your health benefits gone, whatever. And all this caused, you see them women weeping. That's who's in charge right now. That's the cruel. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is so beautiful because he put these wicked people in charge and they love seeing misery. It's like reminds me of Monsters Inc. Like how them monsters, they just go around terrifying children, and that gave them the energy. That gave them, it's just like these people. They love seeing your misery. These Edomites, I say. So this is Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 19. It says, behold, famine and plague and behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So all these things, a tribulation. Let me look at that again. I mean, not like again, but let me again looking up more words. It says tribulation refers to severe distress, suffering, or affliction resulting from oppression, persecution, or difficult life circumstances. So this is one of those things here. One of these events. So behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish. And all these, it's parallel. Famine and plague go together. The famine, no rain, droughts, all that kind of stuff. Your crops start withering. Your cattle and whatnot start withering, I should say, withering away. And then what happens? They start getting diseases. The plagues start happening because you're eating diseased cattle, you're eating disease, meat, all kinds of plagues happening. And then how it says here, tribulation and anguish. Tribulation, these hard events get paired up with anguish. Let's look what anguish is. Because anguish is extreme, overwhelming, physical or emotional pain, often described as intense suffering, torment, or agony. So all these things get paired together. It's beautiful. Tribulation and anguish. are sent as scourges for amendment. So these things that are happening, these are supposed to be, let's look at what scourges, look at everything. It says scourges refers to severe afflictions, calamities, or whips used for punishment. So these are punishments that are coming on the world, coming on you Israelites, coming on you women, coming on you men, you children of Israel. You know, and this is happening to the whole world, yeah, but you especially, because you are the children of Israel, and the law, statutes, and commandments were given to you, and these things are for you to come back and return to your Father, to the Heavenly Father. And it says, are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So they're gonna have these things happen to them, but all they're doing is they're just gonna look for the next ease. They're not gonna be mindful. They're not gonna put these things in mind, like, why is this happening? And if they do ask why, they're not gonna come to the conclusion. They're not gonna get the answer. They're gonna reject it. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals behold, victuals, which is food, shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Oh, it's all good. I can still get gas, whatever, food. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So while these things, you can still go out and buy stuff, you can still, apply for other jobs, you can still do this and that, whatever, you still, got whatever little freedom you got left. More evils and compounded evils are growing. There's coming a time where you're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to travel if you don't have that CHIP. You're going to be and the only way to really do anything or fit into society, whatever, is if you have that CHIP. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And that's pretty much it for the lesson. Lord willing, it's been edifying. Shalom.